Asante sana. One person from here.
This is Elizabeth Amondi. Yes, Mr. President, I have two questions. One is about the insecurity in Kisumu. Kisumu people are dying each and every time because of insecurity. Secondly, water area, the soy dam area, which has led to the deaths of so many people, and people have been crying each and every time. Thank you, Mr. President.
Just explain to me, you say, Elizabeth.
Koru soy dam.
Koru.
Yes.
There is a problem with?
The water area. The water in Koru soy dam, when it falls, is running down, which causes the farmers don't get the floods are.
Oh, there is too much floods.
There is too much flood that leads to no good production.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. You have talked about insecurity in Kisumu. Let me tell you two things. Most of our security agencies, the equipment they had was not in good condition. And also, the terms and service of our policemen and women were not very good. So what I did last year, I put together a task force under Maraga because we were having rampant issues. Some of our policemen and women were committing suicide because of the way, the conditions they were working in. Some of them are living in very bad situations. So we are doing three things to improve the terms of service of our policemen and women. Number one, we have now a new terms structure. Even their salaries, we have enhanced their salaries from the beginning of July this year to make sure that our policemen and women have adequate compensation for them to be able to deliver the service that they are doing to Kenyans. That's number one. Number two, we are also now putting them under the program of institutional housing so that we can build houses for policemen. Some of them live in very, very deplorable conditions. So we are working on that to make sure that. And then number three, as you heard Raymond Omolo, my PS for Interior, say, they did not have adequate equipment. So I rolled out a 20 billion shillings modernization of equipment of our policemen and women so that they can be able to deliver that critical service that they are providing for our country. That program is already underway. We have the first, I think, 30% of the equipment is already been delivered. The program is going on. We are funding it from our budget so that we can improve the quality of service that is available to our policemen and women. Again, I will take up specifically, because you have said in Kisumu, there is an issue. So Raymond, you need to get your team in Kisumu to respond to what Elizabeth is saying so that we can take care of that security. But I've just given you the broader aspects of what we are doing globally to make sure that our policemen and women are doing the job that they have in the mandate given to them. Part of the reason why you heard me talk about Soin Koru Dam, which is a very important piece of infrastructure for us, it will also help reduce the flooding. That is why that dam, the construction of that dam is very important. However, the mechanism of delivery of this dam that is currently in place is inadequate. In fact, it will take a very long time for us to do this dam if we do it using the mechanism that already is there. So I have agreed with the leadership of the County of Kisumu. I had a long meeting with them yesterday with Professor Nyong'o and the leaders from Kisumu, and we agreed that we are going to change the model of construction of this Soin Koru Dam for two reasons. To stop the flooding that is destroying crops on the lower side, and number two, to make sure that we have enough water. We can harvest that water and use it for good cause and bring it to Kisumu and other areas. So that's what we are doing. One question from these good people. There is this gentleman. Yes, my friend.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Jayesh Patel. I manufacture mattresses and water tanks. I'm an industrialist in Kisumu. The first point is basically about power. As an industrialist, there is a big problem in Kisumu. We do not have stable power. If you want more industries to come to the Kisumu County, the power must be stable. Otherwise, you cannot get investments. Now, nationally, I have 2-3 things to say. The bank interests have really gone up. Every industry in the country has borrowed funds, and today they are really paying a heavy price for it. Similarly, the fixed deposits have also gone up. So that has made people actually put money in the bank more than rotated in the economy. And that is actually making all the money be pulled out to the banks and obviously to the government. So if this interest rate goes down, the economy will improve. Another suggestion is the PAY tax. After 32,000 Kenya shillings earned by any employee, there is a 25% tax. Now that is a lot of tax going to the government. I understand that every citizen has to pay tax, which is good, but for the economy to move and become more vibrant, I think this threshold of 32,000 maybe should be pushed up to 90 or 100,000. That will make every Kenyan who is earning money retain the money with him and obviously push it back to the economy. Lastly, the procurement. I have noted and observed that lots of things are over-exaggerated in procurement in the county and the national governments, and that is basically pilferage of taxpayers' money. The suggestion is that since Kenya is digital, why don't we put a ceiling of every item that has to be purchased? Example, if you are going to buy a wheelbarrow, it cannot go for $500,000. It should be somewhere 8,000-9,000. So if that is put as a ceiling, obviously the money will be controlled automatically. And the issue of trying to say reduce corruption stops auto.
Thank you.
Just last one, the issue of the police and the corruption issue which you mentioned, I have a suggestion. Because the fines are heavy, people opt to bribe and move on rather than pay the government. If the charges are reduced, say to 1,000, 2,000, people will obviously pay the government and then also improve. Because at the end of the day, if they were guilty, say, of overspeeding, why would they pay 10,000 to the government? They would rather bribe 3,000 or 5,000 to the police. So if we go reverse way, we rather have the fines to be made 2,000 or 3,000. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jayesh. On power stability, I quite agree with you, but I want to give you some good news. We had a big problem of a facility we had in Muhoroni. I'm sure you are aware. It made power very expensive and very erratic in Kisumu. I want to tell you that we have now shut down that facility because we've gotten additional power from the grid that avoids the generation that was being done in Muhoroni. We will make it much more stable once we connect the line that we are working on. We are working on a procurement for the line that will connect you, Kisumu, to Olesos and connect you to power from Takwel, which is not only cheaper, but it's also consistent and reliable. So if you give us a few more months, we should be able to complete that transmission line and be able to stabilize the power in Kisumu and assist you to do the manufacturing and industrialization that you are doing. Banking interest rates, you're right. If government is paying 15, 16%, no bank is going to lend to a citizen, a farmer, an industrialist, or anybody. As you have seen, in the last meeting of our central bank, the interest rates are, the central bank has already given the signal. I think the last meeting of the central bank brought the interest rate by 0.5% down, and we want to consistently push it down so that we can achieve what you're saying. Because if we do not do that, then it becomes very difficult for people in the private sector to access credit for them to do the businesses that they want to do. You have a suggestion about pay as you earn, and you've said we should put it up from 32 to 90 or thereabout. I'm not sure that's the direction we want to go. You have a suggestion, but I think we need to interrogate how do we still raise the resources we are looking for. And, you know, our trajectory has been, let us broaden the base.